Hey guys, here we are back in my studio. I'm going to be working on this 24 by 36 canvas, and these are the paints I'm going to be using today. Now the black dump paint is Artist Loft Soft Body Black, and next to that is Gotta Deal Rose Gold, and then we have white, which is Artist Loft Soft Body White, and we have Ice Blue, which is from Dazzling Metallics, which is a Deco Art brand. And this color is a mixture of Dazzling Metallics Ice Blue, Aqua Green, and White. And this last color is Gotta Deal brand Champagne. So here we go, guys. We're going to start here in just a moment. Okay, guys, here we are. We're about ready to get started here. I'm going to start off with my little hello with my jazz hands. And we're going to be using a colander today. Right now, I'm just making sure that the paints are spread out evenly across the edges and corners. Okay, here we go. So I wanted to start with the blue, sort of the darker color on the bottom, and then use that really cool blue, sort of a turquoise blue. And then I want to put a layer of white. And then I use the champagne color. So what you're going to see in just a moment is the color starting to come out of the colander. And this is what I was looking for. I wanted to have some of the light colors and the champagne with a little bit of blue. And there we go. You can see it starting to come out. And then I just added all of the rose gold just to add a little bit of contrast and see if that shows up. Again, adding more of the white because I wanted this to be a bright painting. So I used brighter colors and more white than I've used in some time. It's kind of a aqua ocean themed painting. Okay, so I'm stirring up my black paint one more time to make sure it's the right consistency. I have a ritual. I clean off all of my stir sticks before I start. So there I'm cleaning off the black stir stick, and we'll get started here in just a second. So lift it up, get as much paint out of the colander as I can, and we'll start the pour. Here we go. What I liked about this at the beginning is the black paint sunk. And usually when that happens is that I have a smaller negative space at the end, but you'll see what happens with this painting. Making sure all the black paint is covering the color, getting it over the last edge, stretching as much as I can, which helps the color come through. As you can see, I've already got some cells forming. At the moment, I'm wiping off my hands so I can get my heat gun in just a second, or my torch, and pop any bubbles. So sometimes what I do is that I lift the corners and edges up a little bit, sort of bang them down to get some of the bubbles up, because in those bubbles sometimes is the color underneath. And it's hard to imagine when you have all that black paint on top of this, but when you watch it closely, you'll see how things start to form over time, which we'll be going to the time lapse in just a few moments. And there we go. Watch how the blue picks up, and then the cream and the white sort of takes in and creates some contrast with the colors. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll do the walkthrough in just a moment and possibly some touch-ups. I'll talk more about that in the next segment. Hi guys, it's Dwight. I'm back here in my studio. It's been about actually an hour and a half. I had stuff to do around the house. So, the cool thing was when I watched the time lapse, I really noticed how the blue and some of this cream started to come in. So if you can see that on the time lapse, I know it's sped up pretty much just for the sake of getting this video and not having it be such a long segment. The other thing that I always try to focus on and try to make as small as possible is the negative space. I thought it would fill in more. It didn't, but that's okay because the composition, the colors are really beautiful. And if you look at the cells down here, it really filled in. I've got this light blue and this dark blue, a little bit of the cream, and a little bit, I think, of that rose gold. Now I am going to go in the negative space, and I'm not going to take anything out except maybe a few of these smaller speckles, but I'm going to just trim these cells up just slightly so the edges don't look so jagged. And then I'll probably dot them with like a light blue, these right through here, and then darker blue. So I just want to make it sharper and cleaner. I've had people say, why don't you make your own cells or add your own cells to it? But, it would look too fake, and I'd rather have it be a little more organic than that. I do sometimes when I dot these centers, you can tell they've been dotted, but that's sort of purposeful because I want the eye to be drawn in. This look is a lot different. Again, sorry for the glare, guys. These cells, these pearls are cool, but when it's up against the black, I want it to be sharper and crisper. So if that makes some sense, that's good. I appreciate that. What I'm going to do is let this dry overnight, and hopefully it's dry in the morning, and then I can go in and show you the dried results and then do some touch-ups, and voila, we'll be done. Okay, we'll catch you in the next segment. Hey guys, I'm back. This is the next morning. It dried basically as I left it the night before. So as you can see, the color still looks good. Cells look good. I'm pretty sure it's dry. What I'm gonna do, and I'll do it on, I'll do it probably on real time, but then I'll just speed it up later instead of doing it on time lapse. But I'm gonna go in and just look at some of these cells. You can see the jagged edges. I'm just going to lightly, with my very, very thin brush, just go over that. And then I may dot some of the cells to give them more definition, like the one there and some up there. We'll see. So I'm going to set this up here, and we will get started here in just a moment. Okay, here we are. I've got some black paint there and my thin brush. And as I sat down, I got close to those cells, and I realized that not a whole lot of work needs to be done. I didn't trim a whole lot, just a little bit to make them a little bit either rounder or the edges not as jagged. So that's what I'm doing right here, is just touching some of those up to give them a little bit more definition because that negative space is sort of big. And I was dotting out some of the smaller dots, but I left a lot of them in because I just felt they added a little bit more interest to the painting. Again, I'm just sort of touching up some of the edges with some black to make it a little sharper and cleaner. So next I'm going to mix a little bit of blue and white to just sort of mix together and sort of match the centers of the cells. First, I'd use my heat gun to dry what I just painted so I don't smear it. So the purpose of doing this today is to make sure that when you are looking at this painting and you're looking at that negative space, even though you have that stark difference between the blue and the black, I didn't want the cells to be too washed out. So I wanted to slightly brighten the color in the middle because I wanted you to be able to draw your eye to the center of that negative space or to the side of the painting where the negative space is. It just gives it more definition, it helps with the composition, and it gives a place for your eyes to rest. I don't think we talk too much in abstract art about like where does your eye rest on the painting. If it's too busy, it can be overwhelming or it can be sort of confusing because you're not quite sure where you're supposed to sort of center in. Now, the focal point can be, I'm assuming, anywhere on the painting. And of course, if you watch my videos, you see that mine are typically on the sides. Sometimes they end up in the middle, but I haven't done that in a while. Maybe sometime I can talk a little bit more about where the negative space ends and why it ends in the certain spots that I have mine end in. Okay, guys, we're about done here, and hold on. Okay, guys, I am finished. I did less trimming of the cells than I thought I would do. Once I got close, I felt like what it mostly needed was to sort of define the centers more. So I just trimmed a little bit, if you noticed, if you could tell in the video. And so I did dot some of those cells, and I know they're a little bit brighter, but again, if you've heard in my previous videos, and maybe I even said it earlier in this video, that I did that because it pulls your eye in, it gives you a little bit more definition. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think the colors look great. Part of the problem with this angle, turn the light off there, is that it's laying flat. And so if I could stand it up, I would, but I don't have a lot of room right now to do that. But hey, this is the final results. I hope you like it, and hope you had a great holiday weekend coming up, and we'll see you real soon.